Okay, I had one of these racist idiots get on my post again and tell me that I need to look up Rehkmare and that I would see the proof there. Now, I think this is the 14th time, or maybe it's 12th, and two times I was told to do the same thing. Uh, both times it's been refuted. But this tomb is interesting in a few facts. They have walls here that are much higher. The hallway here is much taller than it normally is. A person stands about this tall right here. These things are like 14 foot tall. They have writings all the way up on them. From about here up, you really, none of this you would even be able to really see. Um, Back when they did it, they had this probably half full of sand and had boards across it, and then were walking back and forth and painting it and then moving it along. Some of it didn't even get quite finished or painted totally. You can see when you look in spots of it. We might see it in some of our stuff that we look at. But of course, from anybody's perspective, it wouldn't look sloppy in any way, and they didn't do sloppy work. In fact, look at the incredible amount they did for this man. And it seems that he was a high vizier of Tutmos the second, I believe, and then the one that came on that, which was like Amenhotep. A lot of people think that it goes Tutmos 1, 2, 3, 4, Ramses 1, 2, 3, 4, Seti, and so on. It doesn't. It bitches back and forth. Their names are changed to what they believe is a lot of characteristics, who they come from, bloodlines, and even hair colors. Sethites and Ramseyites are known to be redheads, and so on. The Horus gods are seem to have had the blonde hair, and there are fewer of them around. And Horus was looked at as being a past divinity, so they didn't pull into that as much. Most of these people were shave-headed, and once they looked in all the burials of the commoners out there in the actual necropolis, there were areas that are just all redheads that are all buried together. All the Sethites and Setis are all buried out there together, the commoners. And then you run into blondes, and then it's nothing but blonde-haired people for a long, long way. There's a whole area of auburn people that run into brown and black-haired people that are all in an area too. And it looks like they separated them even in the necropolis due to hair colors and things like that. So let's look at some of these pictures here and see if we can figure out what he's talking about. There's so many nice pictures in this, and one depiction that they show a dual tapestry in some of their shots, like what's shown here, and so it has the filling of all the pictures, fruits and things like that, but you can see the in-between is done with designs, almost has a 3D effect to it when stood back from it, and a lot of neat um, uh, artistic work is done with them. There's blue that they have used. This is once they finally solidified a blue that doesn't eventually over time turn green or brown, like a couple of the others had. So all along the walls, all you're seeing a lot of is workers. This man was a high vizier, and he was over a lot of the workers. So we can look at some of these depictions they have of these guys and see what they look like. Well, here it looks like we have pale-looking guys, real pale-looking guys that are actually helping doing the work, and then more tanned guys here that are apparently brick makers. He's like doing the brick thing over there, and this guy's, yeah, laying the bricks. Now, is that a Nubian or a Negroid? It's possible. It just looks like, if he's just more tanned because of having been out in the sun and being a common brick worker, it might just be depicted in such. I mean, they only had a few colors they had to go with here, so they have the pink and they have the brown. I mean, the bucket's the same color as the guy's skin, but this bucket's just solid brown. So they have a few choices here, and they don't make him solid brown. They don't make him black. Um, that's that funny wig set they've got on. The other guys seem to have this actual hair, but it's real, real short. It's not like a shaven type of look. You can tell it's like got hair onto it, and how pale that guy's leg is. Anyhow, so I'm supposed to be finding the truth here somehow, and I'm looking. So brickworkers and commoners are in this photography quite a bit, and so let's look where some of these others to have here. Here's a guy, and oh, he's got blonde hair. There's one there with blonde hair, and then yeah, there's one that's bald. I don't know. That's a brick worker, and he's nowhere near as tan as the other guy over here, and he's a brick worker. So it looks like a lot of people are putting themselves to work here, and the commoners are drawing more tan than the non-commoners, but perhaps this is a mason here, and he's doing certain things, and that's a certain brick, and he's making things correct or right. That's what it looks like more to me. So let's go back here and just see what we find when we look at all these pictures, because the art in this hallway, there's hundreds of shots, so there's got to be some stuff that'll stand out to us, you know, that we look at. Oh, well, this must be part of what he's talking about. Here's where you get to see a black guy, and he's smelling a flower, and somebody, they supposedly scratched his nose off. Well, they also scratched the bottom of the flower off. They also scratched the wall right behind his head, missed his head, whoopsie. And then where else did they scratch at? Over here on his chest and so on. So I don't think it was done to do that. He has a non-prognostic jaw. He's actually growing what looks like hair on his chin, and natural black people that aren't admixed don't actually grow much facial hair at all. But so they try to say that these are Negroes, and the funny other side of that coin is, how could their woman be that pale then? How could a woman be this pale? Black women are the same color as the men, and that's whether they're in the sun or not. These women are kept out of the sun. It's an edict where they try to keep them pale. The men are drawn in a darker or tanned color to show that they're workers and they're doing things, that are a man of action. Priests and holy people who are always in temples and not in the sun are shown to be a lot more pale. They only have a few colors to go off of here. And oh, sure, that looks dark, but I wonder if they didn't darken that photo. Bet you I can find the same photo where he's about 4 shades lighter than that, and she's even a little lighter than that. But so yeah, that may be what he's trying to refer to. So let's look at more of this. There's got to be a lot of it that's shown here. Here's one of the galleries, but this is not, that's not the tomb. That's a different tomb entirely. What do they got here? Okay, they got people on the walls that are musicians. Oh, this is kind of cool. So if you'll look, what's going on here is she's got a primitive guitar, and the body is just small, almost the size of a violin, with a long stick. It's believed it only had 2 strings on it, perhaps 3. This looks like 3. Other people have said these are bells that are on the end of the things that do attach that, and then if she shakes that, it makes ching, 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 and she would play it way up close to her chest like that. Here we have another lady that's playing a primitive harp or lute type of device. Even has an echo chamber built in the bottom of it, which is quite neat. And I think both of those are just pale Caucasian ladies. So you can see the women, even the feet of these that are on the next picture above, are all pale. So this can't be Negroids just by that fact. I mean, you can look at a picture like this and say, well, he's got to be black. Well, there's pictures of his mom and dad too. Well, his mom looked pale like this, and his dad looked like that in these warrior pictures. And in that fact, they didn't have a mulatto kid. It would have been, so see, it doesn't work that way. You can't have like, well, they're always marrying mulattoes to whites. Is that what you're going to try to come with? No, these are the same guys with pale wives. They only have a couple of colors to go with. And red ochre is used all through the area. I mean, the Greeks, as pale as they were, drew a lot of their men that were warriors and hunters and muscle men, and the people in the Greek games were quite often shown with this exact same red ochre color. So you can't say that, Minoans, Etruscans, all these guys, that's just blurry as hell. This is an actual picture. Somebody stuck a camera up there and snapped a shot. What are these guys doing? Oh, they're pounding grain. They're going back and forth. You know, like I've been working on the railroad or whatever. They're pa-doom, 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 pa-doom. That's cool. He's got blonde hair. He's got blonde hair. Here's the big guy, like the foreman. Yeah, he's got the key to the grain houses. So, yeah, okay. Again, it's just a long hallway here that they have of this, and pictures everywhere onto them. Some of the plaster's giving away in places, but there's thousands of pictographs going down here of different scenes. And so we'll just continue to look at a lot of these and see if we can find something that really becomes outstanding, that makes me think somehow it was black people that were living in Egypt. There's a Getty image, so this has got to be at least, good quality. Yeah, okay, so it looks like I'm seeing, tan people and even a lighter guy that seems like he's doing some scribe work or something, maybe. I don't know. He's got light hair. Workers that are up here are darker. These guys are a little lighter. Yeah, they do kind of tone it up a little bit. They seem to add some of that brown here. And now once we get to the 12th dynasty and up through the 18th, they start using more colors. They have a little bit of variation on the theme that they're using. So this guy's, yeah, that's a redhead. Let's zoom in on that. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. And what is he? Well, he's doing needlework and awls and doing something. Doing some delicate work there. Okay. That's not Tomb of Rehkmare. Okay, so we're still in there, that same place. I don't know what I'm supposed to be seeing. Oh, what is this? Oh, there looks like a Nubian. Oh, yeah, these are Nubians. They're bringing tribute. You can see by their carrying in the stuff. This looks like Nubians. Or they're drawn like a mahogany to dark. They have no other clothing or articles on, usually than maybe a simple necklace and a sash. And so, does that say Nubians? What does that say? Transporting food stocks. Rehkmare T100. That's the TT100 is the name of the place. This is, again, oh, it looks like just past the picture we were looking at. That may be the guy that was on the left. And this is more. Man, this is all scuffed up. Showing all kinds of. There's a pale guy, and this looks darker, almost Nubian, almost Nubian. That looks like a black guy. This guy's got a leopard skin, but I don't know. Is that just all scratched off? What is this? And oh, there's a baboon. The baboon's grown with that green that turns brown, and it didn't turn brown. Green baboons. Okay. Some colors just don't work out over time. I think they found that out over time. But here's some guys mixing something up. Yeah, they got red hair. And what they're doing here looks like maybe making a bread thing, or no, this is cooking. They're cooking in oil. They're cooking, okay, so this is like donuts. Yeah, this is like donuts or crullers, if you know what I'm talking about. And then they would eat them with honey on them and butter. So that, damn, that's making me hungry. Let me see if I can't find, good pictures. You can tell which ones are blurry in here, and that's kind of blurry. Isn't this the picture we were looking at before? No. But this must be just down from it. There's a blonde-haired guy. And here's a guy picking up rocks to build something. It's not their tomb, but it is for something. I'm not sure what it probably is. It's seems like that they're making bricks, but that's not a brick, that's a cut stone. Wow, that guy's a redhead straight up. Right there, pale guy with red hair. Looks like long red hair too. You might say he has a pharaoh sash over his head or something. No, it looked like hair going down. Yeah, oh, here's what I wanted to show you is that some places down from the walls on this tomb, they have the blues and greens and stuff and more colorful hieroglyphics that are generally anywhere. By the way, this is one of the ones in question. everybody thought this has got to be a spaceship or like a land speeder, like a Luke Skywalker or something, and it's not. I'm not going to go there in this video. Let's see what we can't find here. What? So here's pictures on the wall of people bringing stuff, and on his wall, and it looks like they're bringing leopards. I don't know what the hell that is. That looks like maybe a female lion. This is a elephant, and it looks like it's being brought by an Asian person. So do they already have trade back then? Well, if you've seen my one on silk in Egypt, then you'll see that there's silk threads on Pharaoh's things way before a silk road was supposed to have been there. Funny how a lion has spots all over him, and then he has little designs on him. Who knows how, what's there. And of course the giraffe is just drawn with a million dots. So that's kind of neat and odd, I guess. These guys have ivory tusks that are giant on them too. That's, bringing weird stuff. Here's a leopard. So these are all like tributes they're bringing because they're all under the power of Egypt. Egypt kind of controlled all these places, but I don't think it went as far as Asia. What is this? Oh, this is, I did a video on this. This is pottery. And supposedly they're spinning and cutting a stone bowl with this. Now here's a guy who's drawn with perhaps paler stuff here. And what was weird about this is one of the files that's old on this, that even has it as a black and white photograph, shows it, and they say that it's a woman long-haired woman making pottery. And if you look, I think they thought it had long hair. I don't know why they got scratched behind it. It looks like it just came off. But I think the hair ends right here. And this is blonde hair, drawn with little bitty lines in it, so you can tell it's hair and not some cap or anything like that. And it's shown lighter on the back, like maybe the sun's coming from that angle. But he's spinning this disc and making this pottery, gouging this thing up in there, which may be a harder stone than this as this spins. I don't think this is how it's really done, but yet it's shown on the walls. What are you supposed to think that is? And what's the tail hanging out of there, by the way? Anybody have any insight on that? Right. Let's try to see if we can't find... I don't want to go too far down here because, when you do it with Google Images and so on, you end up getting out of the actual... You're not seeing that guy anymore. Yeah, this is that same photograph before, and the blonde-haired guys that were doing the brickwork. Great. Still don't see what they're talking about. Well, here's that other picture. It's just terrible, but there he is dark, but then again, there's his pale wife. Ooh, this is one of the ones this is the Negro shopped picture. Oh, it's the one with the blonde guys. This is the one where they darkened it so bad that they made all these guys black. You remember a second ago, this guy was pale as hell, but somebody's colored him in. And now this guy, they've left pale too. And they're trying to say they're all Negroes. Yeah. Look, Egypt, brick making. Yeah. Looking up at one of these photographs here, what we're looking at is he himself, and then his women, and his children, like his daughter. There's his wife. Now, this could be priestesses or his other concubines and so on, and so are all these people here. And if you'll look, they're all pale. They're all pale. They're all pale. Sure, he's a tan man in action. And I think I went past a picture a minute ago that shows you this being built. And it's got the little lion heads on the edge of it. And down here in the corner, there's your lyre playing lute girl that's even paler. Yeah, I think you can see that. So I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at here. It's the magic that makes me think that Negroes were anything but subjects of Egypt for all of 25 dynasties before the Nubians took over in the late 25th dynasty. And then, of course, that was looked at as the fall of Egypt. And Egypt never really recovered. People try to say it was much later, but Egypt was never run by Egyptians after that point. It was, Akkadians and Persians, and the Greeks came through. And then after the Greeks came through, it went to Roman hands. And then now we have some Eastern nomadic people that are living there that aren't really related to the originals either. So yeah, I found where they're giving tribute like this, but I don't see what the magic thing was, unless you're talking about, well, look, there's a darker guy, and well, his pale wife. I mean, his boy Elroy gives that away. So, it's an edict that all the people had around there, and they only had a few colors, and red ochre is a symbolic thing. Here's a neat thing. It's a tapestry on the wall, like workers are working in a place that had a tapestry on the wall. They even tried to make it look kind of woven. And what's neat about this is these are the tanned workers, but the people that are the water grabbers here, that are grabbing the water jugs, if you can make it out, those have real pale skin. Yeah, it's got the blue and the green, and it holds its color too. So I don't know what I was supposed to find here, other than the fact that, yeah, there's a bunch of blonde and redhead and pale people mixed in with tan Caucasians, and then black people are coming and giving tribute. Oh, here's a tomb of Rehkmare. Okay, so let's look at this closely. Oh, I've seen this in a depiction before. So what we supposedly have here is these are Nubians. These are Nubians. And if you look, they have some fabrics, and then they just bring a monkey and some other crafted foods, it looks like, and they're storing those, perhaps, and wearing simple cloths. Then these guys here are supposed to be from the land of Punt, so you can see they're drawn differently. They're also bringing a leopard, some goat, so apparently they do some goat herding and farming, although that's kind of an ibex or some type of gazelle. I don't know what's in the big bag here. It looks like there's a tree or something. I'm not sure what's in that picture. I wish I could get a better look. This is just a rendition, people. People have, they took a piece of rice paper that you could see through and put it over the top of it and drew all this. Took pictures, captured the color, and then remade it and did it to where it's pretty much a replica of itself, even in fact, including all the little hieroglyphics that are written along the line. These right here are Crete people, Minoans, Crete, and they all have fancy candelabras and big golden bowls and a bunch of nice golden stuff. They're not bringing monkeys. No, they're bringing faces and urns full of things and silver and gold. A few of those look like they're made to be silver, and they're counting all that up. And if you look up here, there's just some mounds of things in here. There's a lot of gold mixed in. So then we look down here, and these are Nubians and Cushites, if you will. They were called later about this time, starting to pick apart the tribes because they had no unity to themselves either. So they end up saying there's like 9 bows to the Nubians. So they have to get together to do anything, and they were fighting amongst themselves a lot. It's the reason I guess we see these guys here. These guys here is separated from those, like, I ain't with them. And then these guys coming up totally different, wanted to have their own procession, not to be counted amongst the others. So they've got a few baboons here and stuff, a real youngster and a medium-ish one. Yeah, so gold and things, and then back here they're bringing a giraffe. These two back here, 3 or 4, don't look like they're Nubians, though. The darker ones up here do. They may be, and just doing that type of color. So what are we looking at here next? These are, it looks like Assyrians, the Canaanites, or perhaps the Hyksos. Look how pale they are. Yeah, there's a horse, and there's a chariot and stuff, so it has to be the Assyrians, Sumerians, Assyrians, Hyksos, one of those, groups of people that controlled it, had those. And that looks like a female lion. Yeah, we were looking at the picture that had these before. There's a female lion. There's the baby elephant that they have. So elephants, wow, they've got all this stuff and lots of gold, big old pieces. and they show it there. And then here's a procession of their women, which don't look like the men. They're very pale all through here. In fact, their kids are tanned up from playing in the sun and doing everything, but the women are all kept pale. Groups of women here, groups of women, and then men, and then some naked men, which is usually indicative of slaves or servants, and then more men and children all coming to meet. And of course, this doesn't, you see, all of these have like a storage telling you they brought all this stuff, and look at these people, we're writing it down, we're counting it up. Here, when they get to that, they don't do that. They're just counting the people, and or who came to the procession, and nobility and things. And what's looked at here is that these are nomadic people that are running around. Basically, it's like hunter-gatherers, and that's why they only have hunter-gatherer type materials that they bring them in, animal skins and so on. These people are past that point, and they could tan up, but they keep themselves fairly pale. But this is also looked at as being somewhat nobility. They're not just sending like the peons, they're sending nobility and bringing nice gifts, and therefore the people that showed up would be much more pale, albeit they probably get a bit of a tan on the journey. But if you look, they're clothed over, so just like today, you see them on that full clothing, which helps. I mean, even though their arms and face are quite tan, if you got one naked, the rest of his body can be quite pale. You look at the actors and stuff from over there, and the ones that are not scorching themselves all day do keep quite pale. So I don't see what I was supposed to have seen in any of this. It clearly shows to me that that's just a procession of people who are bringing gifts to Egyptians who are tanned up people with pale wives, and some of them are blonde and red haired. So that's exactly what we always thought. I think we'll just leave that one there, people. But yeah, I guess we got to see a nice tomb, some nice art, and some of them amazing Caucasian Egyptians again. Peace.